Awesome. Thank you. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Yes? Excellent. Well, I'm not preaching today, so I'm going to be down here if that's okay. And yes, we're good. And hopefully, hey, we're going to work. Oops. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We're going to talk about reframing the conversation about antibiotic use in animal agriculture, and this happens to be one of my favorite topics. So I just want to give some pointers on how do we do that? How is that done? I'm going to start out with a fun video because I want us to think just a little bit. I'm going to grab this too because I want to talk about that right at the end. So I'm going to show a fun video. So I want this to be a little bit interactive. It's 30 seconds. Don't blink. There will be a quiz afterwards, so pay attention.
Look at the cute dog.
My favorite part. No. Okay, so what happened there? What happened? Okay, guys, okay, I'm going to describe it. I won't ask you. What happened? Guys walking a dog through the park, right? Every day eating a brownie, no big deal. Trips a little bit, drops his brownie, scoops it up, 10-second rule, no big deal. Takes a bite of the brownie. But what's the problem? Somebody saw him. Grandma, granddaughter, walking down the, I can't get over there. Grandma and granddaughter walking down the sidewalk. Think what? Yeah, they think he didn't eat a brownie. They think he ate a big old dog turd. That's exactly right. This is an appropriate conversation for a veterinarian after lunch. So, they think something different. So they saw a small fraction of what actually happened and they rushed to judgment. Guess what, folks? Animal agriculture is just like this. The consumer sees a small fraction of what we do, and they rush to judgment. Why is that? Talk about that. Give me some ideas. Quickly, because they're only giving me 15 minutes. Am I moving too fast? Why do they rush to judgment? Shout it out. Louder. Can't hear. Lack of data? Maybe. They don't know the whole story. Because that's what we do? Complicated. Okay. It's messy. They think they know what they saw. Okay. Who are they hearing from? Who's talking? Media. Okay. And they always get it right. Friends and family. Social media. Absolutely. We always know social media is absolutely correct. Okay. Who else? Educators. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're not. Doctors. Okay, yeah. So I think there's lots of people talking. I think one of the other things, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. People sharing what they want them to see. That's true. But I think one of the other things is we're further and further removed from the farm, right? So lots of people are further from the farm, meaning you don't have grandma and grandpa talking and giving those stories of the farm like we used to. So I think that's one of the other issues. But I think the biggest single most reason that people rush to judgment is because we're not telling them. We're not telling them. Or if we are telling them, we're telling them in a way that doesn't resonate with the consumer. We're either not telling them or it doesn't resonate. We're not connecting with the consumer. So when a consumer asks a question, how are we typically answering? When they ask us a question or they make a statement about animal agriculture, maybe it's about antibiotics, how do we feel? Yeah, attack. We get defensive. We get defensive. I call it the shut up and eat mentality. Oh, honey. Oh, wait, I can use you. You're way better. Oh, honey, you don't like the way I raise cattle? Let me tell you what. I've been raising cattle longer than you are old, and you don't like the fact that what I do. Let me tell you what. I am out there 24/7. I feed my cattle before I feed my before I feed my family, and you don't like what I do. Well, let me tell you what. You ought to try it. You just need to shut up and eat. Eat what I give you. We have to stop it. How many of us have done that? Yeah, I have. I've done it. We have to stop. It's what I call the shut up and eat mentality. We get defensive and we have to stop it. We cannot be defensive. The other way as a veterinarian, I'm super, super guilty of this, is what I call the data dump. We love to show how smart we are, and so what do? We punch them in the throat with the science. And if they don't like that science, what do? We give them more science. And if they don't like that, we just yell it louder. Yeah, it's called the data dump. And it doesn't work. And in fact, consumers believe science is just another opinion. Yeah, that stabs me in the heart. I don't have to like that, but they do. Now, I'm not suggesting that we throw the science baby out with the bathwater. I'm not suggesting that at all. So do not misinterpret that. Do not throw the science baby out, because everything we do in animal agriculture has to be science-based. Period. End of story. But I am suggesting that instead we have to lead with shared values. We have to lead with those values. We have to connect with that consumer on a shared values level, because then and only then do we have the permission to talk about the science. Our target. Who do we want to talk to? We want to talk to the movable middle. We actually talked about that at our table today. We know the activists have a dialogue that's pretty critical of animal agriculture. We talked about that at lunch today. We know we have to effectively engage and create that counter narrative. They need to hear something else in social media besides the negative stuff. We need to be out there too and create that positive message. Those positive images need to be out there. So we have to do this by demonstrating that our values more closely align with consumer values than they may have previously thought. You're going to hear a lot about shared values. And the research shows shared values are if you get nothing else from this presentation, shared values are 3 to 5 times more important in building trust than facts, science, skills, or abilities. Shared values. Folks, that means we've been doing it wrong. The consumer isn't asking if we can use antibiotics in animal agriculture. Easy question. Yes, we can. Science says we can. They're asking if we should. That's an ethical question. That's a different answer. The answer may be the same, depending on the situation. But it's a different answer. It's a different type of answer. It's an ethical answer, and we have to answer that differently. We have to change our approach. Traditionally, we've said, research says it's okay to do this. Financially, it's in our best interest. The consumer doesn't care what's in our best interest. They don't care about what the research says. That doesn't affect them personally. It's not about us. It's about them. We have to shift to the things that they care about. Things like, oh, it sounds like animal welfare is important to you. It sounds like food safety is important to you. Those are shared values. Make that connection. We care about those things too. That's where the connection is. And that's where we have to reframe this conversation. Let's focus on those societal benefits of animal antibiotics. It's about what are the benefits to the animal, in animal health, in animal welfare? What are the benefits to the environment? And what are the benefits to me as a consumer and my family? That's what they want to know about. That's where we make that connection. That's how we answer the question. I'm going to show you another video. Sorry, it's an old video. Filmed this several years ago now, so you got to put up with my family once again. Just a couple minutes, but I think it helps answer the question in a really simple way. It's a busy life on the farm.
Can I do it more some over here?
Yeah, a little bit. With our kids' activities, caring for our livestock, and making sure my family gets safe, wholesome food. It's a challenge some days. But as consumers, that's what we all want and deserve. And that's why antibiotics are important. They keep farm animals healthy, which helps to improve food safety for all of us. I know there are questions about how antibiotics are used on the farm. It's simple, really.
Farmers use antibiotics in farm animals for the same reason antibiotics are used in people: to treat, control, and prevent disease that causes pain and suffering. Antibiotics are given in a number of ways. For example, in water and feed, in pill form, and by injection. Sometimes we can apply the antibiotics directly to an infection. When an animal is sick with a bacterial infection, it can spread quickly. So we treat the animals that are nearby to keep them healthy too. Yeah, you're pretty tame, aren't you? Oof. Treating a sick animal and preventing sickness with the right medicine is absolutely the right thing to do. As a veterinarian, I take an oath to protect animal health and to make sure we all stay healthy too. Antibiotics are one of our most important tools, and they've been used for decades on the farm. Keeping animals healthy has the added benefit of making food more affordable while using fewer natural resources. I'm proud to be a veterinarian, a mom, and a farmer, and I'm proud to be a part of a dedicated community that's committed to keeping animals healthy.
Hopefully you heard some of those societal benefits in that really short video at a consumer level. So very easy to understand. Very easy to understand. And I'm not going to go through all of these bullet points here, but just talking about the ethical thing to do and understanding that antibiotics aren't necessarily the first thing that we grab. It's packaged in a whole realm of tools. It's about vaccines and proper nutrition and proper housing and good ventilation. Sometimes we need antibiotics too to keep animals healthy. I think another thing, especially for consumers, is helping them understand that maintaining healthy farm animals is an important part of providing healthy food and healthy nutrition for our families. They don't necessarily understand that connection. So sometimes we have to help them make that connection. So sometimes we have to paint that picture and make that connection for them as well. So I had to at least say one thing provocative in this conversation. And so, is food the new sex? And I love this photograph too. Is food the new sex? I think as humans, we have this need to moralize over something, right? And once upon a time, we moralized over sex. And I think today, we moralize over food. And we moralize over food to the point of, almost to the point of food elitism. You know, my food's better than your food, and you should feel bad because you can't afford to buy the food that I think you should be eating. And that scares me a little bit. That scares me a little bit because that's not going to give us more food choices. That's going to give us less. That scares me, and I think we have to be really careful about that. I think we have to be very careful about that. But on the other hand, it goes back to those kind of ethical choices, and it goes to purpose-driven purchasing, is what I like to call it, or components of, quote, ethical eating. And, you know, everybody likes to pick on the millennials a little bit. I'm not picking on millennials at all. I think they've got some things straight, quite frankly. They understand they can control the world with their credit card. And by that I mean they're purchasing from companies, from businesses that have values that align with theirs. Which means that in this day and age, it's even more important that we communicate our values than ever before. It is changing the way we do business. It's no longer an option. We have to communicate our values because people are buying based on those decisions. So what are components of ethical eating? It's animal welfare. It's waste reduction. It's pollution. It's worker welfare, reduced impact of production, supportive of local economy, avoids unnecessary packaging and elements, and it's safe. Very basic things. Do antibiotics fit in here? Yes. I could make the argument as well, does non-use of antibiotics fly in the face of some of these things? I can also say yes. So be careful. Be careful. Which brings me to stewardship, or responsible use. I think of the animal health community, farmers, veterinarians, including our regulatory bodies. We've all worked together. We want to make sure that we're committed to responsible use on the farm because we want to minimize our potential contribution to antibiotic resistance. And I want to point you to a piece. Unfortunately, these came from Belgium. I do want to point you to a piece here on the table, and I say unfortunately from Belgium because they only shipped us about 20 copies because they did come from Belgium. But I will tell you they are available online, and I think if you flip, I think it's healthforanimals.org is the website. Health for Animals is a trade organization for the animal health companies, and you can check out this on their website. It's the roadmap to reducing the need for antibiotics. So it's a document that I happen to be involved a bit with, and I bring this up as far as stewardship and responsible use because this really talks about our vision for reducing the need for antibiotics, and it gives the principles of those. And not only does it give the principles, but then it gives specific things that we're doing. How are we fulfilling that commitment? And it actually lists those things in those documents. And I suspect that as we move forward, that we'll update this document in future years. So I just wanted to share that with you. This is hot off the presses. It's brand new. Just in the last few weeks, it's just been published. So I at least wanted you to know that this document is out there. Animal Health Institute, Ron's back there. He's our U.S. trade organization, also a member of this group as well. So I wanted you to know that those are on your tables for you to review. Welcome to take those with you, but it is also available online to download and take a look at. There's also resources and support. You can see that video as well as several others on exploreanimalhealth.org. So some quick review. Avoid getting defensive. Listen to what consumers care about, their family, their health, animals, and the environment. Lead with your values, not the science. And I know that's hard for those of us, especially in this room, because shared values are 3 to 5 times more important in building trust and sharing facts, science, skills, and abilities. Food is personal. It's intimate. Let's talk about it that way. Animal agriculture has taken action and will continue to do our part to ensure responsible use of antibiotics. And responsible use helps keep animals healthy, conserves natural resources, and makes food safer and more affordable.